Hi there, you're welcome to another session of learning. And today in our English language lesson, we'll be looking at intonation practice in speech work. Intonation practice in speech work. What is intonation? I'm sure this is a word we have heard or some of us are quite familiar with. Okay, but we're quickly going to look at what it means for the sake of those who may not really understand what it's all about. Intonation refers to the rise and fall in pitch of the voice when speaking. It refers to the rise and fall in pitch of the voice when speaking. For example, if I say, I'm coming, that coming, which is at the end of the sentence, is a kind of going down. But if I say, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? What are you doing there? You can hear that at the end of the sentence, the pitch of my voice rises. I am coming. What are you doing there? Okay, you can see the difference. The first one, which is the statement, my voice, it kind of comes down, the pitch of it. But in the question, what are you doing there? My voice, it kind of goes up. It rises at the end. Okay, so intonation is simply the rise and fall in pitch of the voice when we are speaking. What is the essence of this intonation? What does it do? What is its function? It helps to convey meaning and emotions. When you speak, the intonation that you use helps to clarify the meaning of what you're saying. Sometimes it can give meaning beyond what your words are saying. And it can also help to show your emotions, okay? Emotions like whether you are happy, you are excited, you are sad, or you are angry or disappointed, things like that. So intonation helps to convey meaning and emotions beyond the words that are used to show those things, the meanings and the emotions. It can convey that deeper meaning. So intonation can help us to communicate statements. If you are talking, if what you're saying is a statement and it's not a question that requires answer, intonation helps to communicate that. If what you are asking is a question, intonation also helps to communicate that when you ask a question. There are questions you can ask without using what, who, why, where, and stuff like that. If you put it down in words, it looks like a statement. But when you say such words, when you say them, the intonation you use will suggest that that word or that sentence is a question. Without using why are you coming, you can say, you coming. You coming? Your coming can go as a statement. It can also go as a question. Now, what we tell the difference is the intonation. You are coming. That sounds like a statement. You are coming. That sounds like a question. So you see the role of intonation. You are coming is like dropping at the end, while you coming, which is the question, you see that at the end, the pitch is rising. Okay, so you see the role of intonation. It helps to communicate statement. It helps to communicate question. It helps to communicate meaning and then emotion, like we looked at here. That helps to convey meanings and emotions that are deeper or beyond the words that are used. They are deeper than the words used, or they are beyond the words that are used. Okay, so intonation and the study of it is very important. When you're speaking as the speaker, it will help you to convey what you want to convey better okay, in terms of meaning and emotions. And if you are a listener, it will help you to interpret what the speaker is saying, okay? So that's why it's important for us to look at these aspects in our speech work. All right, so we're going to look at falling intonation. In intonation, we have falling intonation, we have rising intonation, we have wavering intonation, okay? So those are the three we're going to look at under this intonation practice: falling intonation, rising intonation, and wavering intonation. So what is falling intonation? This is when we lower our voice at the end of a sentence. When you're making a sentence and then at the end of the sentence, your voice, it kind of goes down or gets lowered. Okay, such is called falling intonation. Now, falling intonation occurs in statements when you are making statements, okay? Just saying things, not questions. And it also occurs in questions that use where, when, why, what, who, and how. Note, it occurs in statements, and then in those questions that use these words. Not all questions have falling intonation. Only the questions where these words are used: where, when, why, what, who, and how. Questions that use these words have falling intonation, and then statements generally have falling intonation. Okay, when we start looking at examples, you will understand this better. Okay, so first, the examples you're going to look at are just those of statements, and we're going to see how falling intonation features in statements. The first one here says, "That is our house." That is our house. You can see that our house at the end of the sentence, a kind of our voice there gets a kind of lowered. Now, let's try and compare that to something. That is our house. Is that our house? You can see that there is a rise in the our house in the question part, but in the statement part, it goes down. That is our house. Okay? The second one here says, "The man promised to come." The man promised to come. You can see that promise to come, the pitch of the voice is getting lowered. And the last one here says, "My students are very hardworking." My students are very hardworking. So these three statements, they are just examples of how falling intonation function in statements. In statements, at the end of those sentences, you find that the pitch of the voice starts getting lowered. For us to really understand what we mean by the lowering of the pitch, I have given an example with this. First one is at our house. You can see that the pitch is going up at the end. Now let's look at the second one. The man promised to come. Did he promise to come? You can see that the question part of this sentence or statement goes up at the end. The pitch goes up at the end. The man promised to come. You see the pitch is not coming down, unlike the man promised to come. So I'm just trying to bring out the question parts of these sentences so that you see the differences at the end, how one goes down and the other goes up. Remember, we said that falling intonation occurs in statements, and we're trying to bring out how the intonation, how the fall in pitch in our voice is seen in statements. And the third one here says, "My students are very hardworking." Are your students very hardworking? Are my students very hardworking? You see the difference? My students are very hardworking. So in the statement part, at the end of the sentence, you notice that the voice or the pitch of the voice gets lowered. Okay, so these three are examples of falling intonation. These are examples of falling intonation in statements. Now in falling intonation, we're going to consider examples of questions. Remember we said that falling intonation features in statements and in those questions that use where, when, why, what, who, and how. So we have looked at the functions or how falling intonation features in statements. Now we're going to look at how they feature in questions that use these words. Okay, remember I said falling intonation does not feature in all questions. There are certain questions where it features, and those are the questions that start with where, when, why, what, who, and how. So the first example here says, where are you? Where are you? You can see that the ending part is not going up. Where are you? When will it be ready? You see that at the end, the pitch of the voice goes down. Okay? It goes down a bit. Where are you? When will it be ready? Why is she crying? Please try and get the pitch, okay? Just try and listen to the pitch. What are they saying? You can see that at the end, these last words, especially the pitch, they go down. What are they saying? Who is that tall boy? How did he get here? Okay? Where are you? When will it be ready? Why is she crying? What are they saying? Who is that tall boy? How did he get here? Now, when we start considering other types of questions, like that use words like did, does, and stuff like that, you're going to see a difference at the end. You're going to see that at the end, the last words, okay, they have pitches that are higher. They come in high pitch. You know, while these ones, they go down because they start with these words, where, when, why, what, who, and how. So these are just examples of words or sentences or statements or questions where falling intonation features. So the next one we are going to look at is rising intonation. We've seen falling intonation, we're going to look at rising intonation. Okay. So the next aspect we're going to look at is the rising intonation. Now, rising intonation is when we raise the pitch of our voice at the end of a sentence. For falling intonation, we said is when we lower the pitch of our voice at the end of a sentence. And we saw some sentences and how our the lowering of the voice at the end of the sentence shows that the intonation is falling. So here we're going to see how the intonation rises at the end of a sentence. Now, when does this rising intonation feature, and where do we say this? It is used in questions that are answered with yes or no. Such questions are called yes or no questions, okay? It is used in questions that are answered with yes or no. Remember the questions we considered in falling intonations. Intonation are those questions that start with when, where. You don't answer those with yes or no. You know, you have to say something. But here, this kind of questions can be answered with just simple yes or no. And these questions always rise in pitch at the end of the statement. So let's look at some examples to help us to understand better. The first one here says, are you an African? Are you an African? You can see that the African, the pitch goes up. Are you an African? Unlike, when is he coming? You don't say, when is he coming? When is he coming? Are you an African? You see that the African, the pitch is rising. The next one here says, can you read this? Can you read this? You see the pitch also is rising at the end. Compared to, when do you read this? When do you read this? I'm trying to contrast these questions with the other questions that we considered for falling intonation so that you can see the difference. Okay? Can you read this? When do you read this? You can see that one goes up and the other comes down. So can you read this? Goes up. That's why it is rising intonation. Can you read this? And the next one here is the book interesting? Is the book interesting? Again, you see the interesting. The pitch there is going up in the word interesting. Is the book interesting? Let's try and contrast with a question that uses maybe, let's use how. How is the book interesting? Is the book interesting? How is the book interesting? Do you see the difference? In is the book interesting, the pitch goes up. But in how is the book interesting, you see that the pitch goes down. Okay? Just trying to let you see the difference. Now the next one is, have they arrived yet? Have they arrived yet? Again, you can hear that the sound yet it has a rise in the pitch. Have they arrived yet? Now let's contrast it with a sentence from the falling intonation and why have they not arrived yet? Have they arrived yet? Why have they not arrived yet? You see the difference? Have they arrived yet? It goes up. Why have they not arrived yet? It falls at the end. Just to show you the difference between rising intonation and falling intonation. So the last one here says, did you see the man? Did you see the man? Now contrast that with, when did you see the man? Did you see the man? You can see that the pitch rises at the end. Did you see the man? But if it's a question with, starting with when, for instance, or where, you will see that the pitch will fall. Where did you see the man? When did you see the man? Did you see that? Did you see the man? When did you see the man? So, in this case, did you see the man? You can see that the pitch is rising at the end. That is why it is rising intonation. Whereas in the case of when did you see the man, you can see that the pitch falls at the end. And that's why such questions that start with when, why, what, who, and how, they fall under falling intonation. While other questions, okay, that are known as yes or no questions, or that can be answered with simple yes or no, fall under rising intonation. Because at the end of these questions, the voice pitch goes up. Our voice pitch goes up at the end of these questions, these yes or no questions. Are you an African? Can you read this? Is the book interesting? Have they arrived yet? Did you see the man? Okay, so these are examples of rising intonation. So rising intonation is also used in statements or questions because they're actually questions, okay? Like, excuse me, maybe somebody says something or does something, now you're like, I need clarification. Excuse me? Really? Are you serious? You can see that these all have rising pitch at the end of the statements or questions. Excuse me? Really? Are you serious? At the end, the pitch goes up. Really? At the end, you see the pitch goes up. Are you serious? Excuse me? So these are all examples of rising intonation. So the next and the last one we're going to consider in intonation is the wavering intonation. Wavering intonation. So for wavering intonation, this is used when you express specific emotions or attitudes within a word. Like you're trying to show some emotions, a particular emotion or a particular attitude within a word. In this wavering intonation, a particular word can be spoken in such a way that it will have different meanings. It will be spoken in such a way that the intonation will give it different meanings. The same word could have a lot of meanings based on the intonation that is used for that word. Okay, so that's what it means. That it's used to express specific emotions or attitudes within a word. Depending on the intonation, you will now be able to get the meaning or what the speaker is trying to say at that point in time. Let's look at some examples here. So the first word we're going to look at is okay. Okay. Okay means, normally it means it's all right. Now when you say okay, it's okay, normal, right? But there is the hesitant or unwilling emotion that can be shown when you say okay. You are hesitant, you are hesitating, you are not so willing, like you're not so sure of what you are okaying, okay? So you're like, okay, you are holding back, you are hesitating, you are unwilling. Then there is the okay when you're very excited, you say, okay. Oh, the excitement shows and the intonation shows that you're very excited. That okay shows excitement. It shows you're very excited. Okay, I love that, And then you have the okay that shows that the speaker is frustrated and angry. Okay, with a twist of the face and all of that. Oh, you're insulting me. Okay, we shall see, So, wavering intonation is used to express different emotions, specific emotions and attitude within a word. So you see this particular word, okay, based on the intonation with which it is used, it can be normal okay, which means it's all right. This okay can also mean that the speaker is not willing to agree to something, is hesitating based on the way it is said, okay. And then this same okay can be said in a way that shows that the speaker is very excited. Okay. And then lastly, okay can be said to show that the speaker is frustrated and angry. Okay. Okay, so this is just one word that can feature wavering intonation to express specific emotions or attitude. We're going to take another example. So another example we're looking at is thanks a lot. This is a word we come across. This is a sentence or a statement we come across every day or we use every day. Thanks a lot. When somebody does something for you, to show appreciation, you say thanks a lot. But this same thanks a lot, based on the intonation with which it is said, can carry different meanings. It can portray or express different emotions. Okay? Thanks a lot, that's normal. Thanks a lot, normal. Okay? Which shows you are grateful or appreciative and all of that. Thanks a lot. Oh, thanks a lot. It shows you're very happy. Thanks a lot. You see that? Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Okay? And then the last one here is the one that is sarcastic. What is sarcastic? Sarcastic is you say something that on the surface is not rude, but is intended to be rude. It is not a rude thing on its own, but the emotion behind it portrays or expresses rudeness. For instance, maybe somebody spoils something that belongs to you. So you spoiled my shoes. Thanks a lot. Okay? So that thanks a lot is not thanks a lot of being appreciative, right? It's sarcastic. You are actually angry with the person. You are actually upset, but you're saying thanks a lot. But then the intonation will suggest that this is sarcasm. You've been sarcastic. Oh, you destroyed my shoe, right? Thanks a lot. Okay? So these are examples of wavering intonation where the same words are spoken with different intonations and they carry different meanings, or they portray different emotions or attitude. Just the intonation changes the meaning. The intonation changes the emotions portrayed. The intonation changes the attitude shown. Okay? So the last example we're going to look at in wavering intonation is you did. You did. Okay, we're going to see how this can be said with different intonations to carry different emotions or attitudes. So the first one here, you did? You did. Very surprised. It shows the person is surprised. You did? Wow. I'm so surprised you did that. Okay? You did can express surprise. You did. Disappointed. You did. Indeed. I can see you did. You're sounding disappointed. It expresses disappointment. Then the one of anger. You did? Okay? You did? You did? Sounding angry, expressing anger. Okay? And the last one here, when you say that in agreement with what someone has said, probably say, you did. Like, I did this and on my way, yeah, you did. In agreement. You did? You did? Wow, very surprised. You did. You did. Disappointed. Expresses disappointment. You did? Expressing anger. You did. Showing agreement. So we see that certain words or statements can be said with different intonations to portray or express certain emotions or attitudes. The same words spoken with different intonations carrying different emotions and attitude, expressing different emotions and different attitudes. Okay? So remember what intonation is? It's the rising and falling of the pitch in our voice pitch when we speak. We looked at falling intonation, how our voice pitch goes down at the end of a sentence. We looked at rising intonation, how our voice pitch goes up or rises at the end of a sentence. And then we looked at wavering intonation, where intonation, different intonations being used for a particular word or a particular sentence, and making it to carry different emotions or attitudes. Okay, so this is where we're going to stop in our exploration of intonation practice in speech work. So you please try and go over this again, and when you're reading, you try to, when you're reading like novels, storybooks and all of that, try to figure out, like what kind of intonation the speaker would be using, to express what they are expressing. For people who who do performing arts, you really need to understand this intonation, because when you read a storybook or something and you try to act it out, you try to do a performance on it, you really need to know the intonation used at certain points in order to be able to translate what you have read into action in order to perform it well. Okay, so this thing is very important. So you just try to, whatever reading books you place your hands on, just try to look out for intonations in the words that are used there. Okay, the other aspect of our lesson for English language this week are the writing aspect, and all right, so the other aspects of this lesson that we're going to look at are the writing aspect and the teaching of new words. Okay, writing and teaching of new words. So for the writing aspect, I would refer you to the video on grades 3 and 4 week 3 English lesson. Okay, I'm going to refer you to their video. Week 3 English lesson for grades 3 and 4. There we dealt on guided writing. We did guided writing, and it was extensively handled. We treated it, extensively. So it's going to help you. That video will help you in your writing. Whatever it is you want to write on, that video will guide you. It will help you. At this level, it's just going to be good enough. Okay, because there we looked at how you would choose your topic. Okay, if it's something you are not given a topic, for instance, you are asked to just write on anything, how you choose your topic. If you are given a topic, fine, you brainstorm. You start by brainstorming on that topic. Try to generate ideas about that topic. And as you're generating those ideas, as you're getting those ideas from your brainstorming session, you are noting them down. Okay, you're noting down those ideas you're getting, and then the next step is you try to organize the ideas. These are the different steps involved. The different steps involved in your guided writing. So you choose a topic, you brainstorm ideas, you note down those ideas about the topic, then you try to organize the ideas. Okay, you organize them, and then you try to structure them into introduction, body, and conclusion. Okay, and then you do your reviewing and editing. That's after you have come up with your introduction, body, and conclusion. You edit whatever needs to be there that isn't there, you add it. Whatever is there that shouldn't be there, you remove it. Whatever you need to beef up, to add flesh to, you add more info to it. Okay, to just and then you also take note of how you connect your ideas so that the flow will be fine and natural. So we looked at that, and then we look at after your editing, how you eventually come up with your final version. And we talked about that, the fact that your editing doesn't have to be once or twice. It just depends on you. You keep editing and reviewing until you're satisfied with your work, and then you come up with your final version. Okay, so please just try and refer to that video. It's going to help you with your writing. And then the other aspect, the last aspect, is the teaching of new words. In our WhatsApp page, you can access that through mommy or daddy, uncle or auntie. We have given out words already for this teaching of new words. We gave out about 30 words, and actually I suggested you take 5 per week. So which means the 30 words should take us for like 6 weeks. So I suggested 5 a week. I know some people may feel it's too small and may want to do 10. If your capacity can take 10, fine. But please note that it's not just about spelling, learning how to spell those words. You need to learn how to spell the words. You need to learn how to pronounce, you need to learn how to pronounce them correctly. Okay? You need to learn to pronounce those words correctly, and then you need to know their meanings. And lastly, you should be able to construct meaningful sentences with them. So you see, it's not just about learning how to spell them. Because if you do that, you cram the spelling, you do your dictation, you get 10 out of 10 or 20 out of 20. Trust me, after a few weeks, you're going to forget about that word or those words. But if you learn to spell them, you take your time to learn the spelling, learn how to pronounce them, learn the meanings of those words, and then you make meaningful sentences with them. Trust me, they are going to become a part of you. No matter how much time passes by, when you encounter those words again, when you come across those words again, you will definitely remember them, remember the spelling, the pronunciation, meaning, and the rest of it. That's why I said you do 5 words a week, okay? So that you give detailed attention to them and work with them properly, not to rush over them, okay? So you get this from our WhatsApp page, the 30 words. This is week 4. It still falls within the 6 weeks. So if you are doing 5 a week, you should be working with numbers 16 to 20 at this stage. But it depends on you, okay? But just refer to those 30 words I gave for your class in the WhatsApp page. Okay, so here is what we're going to call it a day for this week. I hope you've learned something. And please help us to like this video, help us to share this video. Okay, and if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I implore you to do so. Please subscribe to our channel. And we hope to see you again next week. Stay safe and stay blessed.